Hi there, everybody. Welcome to this episode of our Health and Wellness Expo. With me today, I have Janet Natter from Smart Money Advice. And you might be going, why are we talking smart money advice in a Health and Wellness Expo? But I think it's really, really important that we do get a bit of financial wellness advice amongst all of this. With our current situation, I'm sure there's many people out there that have money worries or are concerned about their financial health. And so I thought I'd bring Janet Natter along to give us some very sensible advice, no doubt. So welcome, Janet. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks, Hazel.
So Janet, you have a company called Smart Money Advice and you are a financial advisor. Do you want to tell me a little bit about how you became a financial advisor?
I guess it's funny how life works out. You know, my first job when I left university was to work for public trust. So I worked as a professional trustee for 12 years, and as part of that role, we did, wills and enduring powers of attorney and trusts, but we also had statutory powers where we managed money for people, either because they weren't able to or because they chose of their personal circumstances to abdicate that. So that was my first taste, I guess, of money management.
Yep.
And then I did my diploma in financial planning. When I worked for public trust, I went to work for a bank for a little while as an investment advisor. I stayed long enough to prove to myself I could do it and left. And then went to work as an insurance underwriter and working with insurance brokers. So basically, when I came into working as a financial planner, we talk to people about cash management, debt management, personal risk protection. We talk about estate planning. I have worked behind the scenes on the other side of the fence in all of those areas. So it was, it's given me a really depth of knowledge that I guess that you wouldn't get unless you've worked both sides of the fence when I talk to my clients. So it's funny how you come full circle and go, oh, this is what I need to be, so.
Yeah, it is funny how life just sort of takes us on these journeys and pathways, doesn't it? And I'm sure the advice that you can provide to people when you are working with them is so much more, it's got a bit more depth to it because you understand the other side of the fence. You understand how it works from the other side. So you understand the mechanisms and how those things operate so that then you can dispel all that information and help people understand what's happening and why they need to do things a particular way. Yeah. So what's your favorite part about being a financial advisor with people? Like what gives you a kick when you have meetings with people and you come out going, oh man, that was so awesome.
I get a real kick out of being able to give people information and then help them to apply it. And then they take control, I guess, of their money and go ahead and have amazing lives. When we talk to people, we're like, well, what do you want to achieve? And they'll tell you this and that and the other thing. And then you journey with people and you actually get to see them achieve it.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the coolest job on the world because you're enabling and empowering people to have amazing lives.
Yeah.
That's what
Empowerment through knowledge and helping other people is certainly why I do what I do, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you get that fulfillment in your job, then that's really awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah. That's really cool. So how do you normally operate Smart Money Advice? Are you an online chatting like this with lots of people, or is it more face to face and in people's homes or in your office? How do you normally work pre having to stay at home?
Okay, well, pre having to stay at home, one of the values in the business is that nobody will ever be a number. So we're very much about building relationships. So it's usually face to face, either at people's homes or here in the office. I must admit I'm not very good at the online stuff, and it's something I've had to learn really quickly in the last couple of weeks. But having said that, we're doing a bit of that, and we've actually picked up 2 new clients in the last 2 weeks via Zoom. So, geez, it's amazing what the world's come to.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Zoom cafe or the Zoom office is
I know. I
is
didn't
where you
even know how
clap.
to turn this on 2 weeks ago, but hey.
I didn't even know Zoom existed. No, well, that's
Oh, yeah.
but you know, like it was pretty much, I would go to a Zoom meeting if I was given a link and told to
Yeah.
plug into a meeting, but I had no
Exactly.
idea how to organize them or
Yeah.
record
I
them
know.
or
Right?
anything. So it's amazing
Yeah.
what we have to learn when we have to learn it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're lucky with technology and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're an online business right now.
That's awesome. So that kind of leads me into that next question of so you're stay at home as everybody is right now, but you're
Yeah.
still operating. You're still, you know, you're
Yes.
pivoting and using technology to help
Yeah.
you support your clients.
Yeah. I'm really lucky because the office is a separate building on our lifestyle block.
Yep.
So I get to work in the flash office, whereas everyone else is working from home.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
The phone is ringing out there, so people are, yeah, it's business as usual, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty fantastic, and that's, you know, good money sense even, you know, that you have a business that is adaptable to the current climate and doing continuing to be able to help people. And I think at this time, I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to need some help because there's, you know, I'm I'm sitting in a really comfortable space right now, but I know that there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of overwhelm and worry about where their next paycheck's coming from, if at all,
Yeah.
how they're going to pay their bills, buy groceries, pay the rent. That's a big one. You know, we're coming into winter when power bills get higher, all of those sorts of things. So I wonder whether we can sort of start chatting around maybe some of the advice that you'd be giving people that are in that overwhelm space to help sort of calm some of that stuff down, because, you know, if we're not in control of what's going on financially, that's obviously going to raise our stress levels, which puts us in a place where we're not looking after our health so well.
Exactly. And I mean, money worries are the biggest cause of relationship breakups.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest causes of stress, you know, for most people. So yeah, as we were saying, Hazel, my daughter works for a large international hotel chain, and they have no clients, and she's going to be made redundant. It's just a matter of when, not if. So she's in that boat of how do I pay my rent? How do I do all this stuff? And I guess one of the big things that I'm seeing with the COVID-19 is it's all run by fear, you know? There's so much scaremongering and fear, and all the doomsayers have come out of the closet that they've been hiding for the last 50 years. And are making interesting statements and getting lots of airtime either on media or on Facebook, and people are becoming frightened, and it's taking away their ability to make logical decisions.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
one of the biggies, and this is the song we've been singing really loudly for the last few weeks with all our clients, is, you know, don't sell your investments, and don't go from being in a growth or a balanced fund down to a cash or conservative fund just because the market has dropped, you know.
Yeah.
The market drops fairly regularly. Admittedly, we haven't had a decent market drop probably since the bad days of the GFC. But, you know, it always comes up. And one of the articles that we've posted on the blog on our website is it an event or is it a trend? Because trends are where you make and lose money, usually not events.
Yep.
And I worked as an investment advisor through 9/11.
Okay.
And that was wicked. I mean, this is wicked too, but that was wicked as well. And
we were in the UK at that time, and we lost. We had ISA funds, and we basically lost everything. We lost about, well, we've probably been nearly close to £20,000. So, you know, on a £20,000 investment. You know, so yeah.
So I mean, in an event like this, the market tends to be like a bungee cord. So it just goes down, 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 and you get to the bottom, and we're all sitting going, is this it, and then it does a little dead cat bounce, and then you're sitting there going, is this it, and then it comes back up, and you're sitting there every day going, is this the rebound, is this the rebound, is this the rebound? But by the time you work it out, you've kind of missed it. And that's why it's really important. People have to stay where they are. And, we did an article to our newsletter clients and called it shelter in place, which is an American term for just hunker down, stay where you are because there's an emergency happening.
Yep.
And so we're saying to everyone, their investments, shelter in place. At some point in the next 6 months, we will get a phenomenal market rebound. And if you miss the first 5 days, you may as well stay at home. So if you've already chickened out and moved your money into conservative or cash, your KiwiSaver, can you please move it back and just, suck it up for a little bit? Because if you don't, when the rebound comes, you will completely miss it. And the losses that you have made for yourself by moving the money, you will have to make up yourself. You will get no help from the market. So that's the big message we've been talking to about our investment clients.
Yeah.
The other one is, this is a time of reset for all of us. We've all had to put down normal for 30 days, well, most of us, and it's looking at, okay, this is, you've got time to actually stop and look at what is normal and what parts of normal do I actually not like, and what parts of normal do I not wish to pick up at the end of our 30-day reset.
Yep.
And I really encourage people to stop spending. It's brilliant. Everyone's going to be on budget this week, but just look at what you were doing before we stop. Look at where your money was going. How many coffees were you buying? How many takeaways? How many times were you going to the supermarket, which didn't include panic buying? Just look at what you were doing with your money, and then stop and go, is this what I want my normal to look like, my new normal after COVID-19? And just take the time. We encourage clients to analyse their bank statements, and we do it for them quite often because they don't want to do it. And we'll go, right, you went to the supermarket 5 times a week and you were spending X dollars, and they go, no. And we're like, yes, or you were buying 6 coffees a week, or, and looking at where the leakage is really in their budgets. And once the people know this is known information, you can then choose to make a decision. Do I leave it like this or do I change it? But if you don't know, you can't change what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's about, actually just really have a good look at what you're doing, and is this the kind of normal you want going forward? It's just about being intentional, And
this has been good for me, because I got into that. I used to be so good at, one grocery shop a week. There might be a couple of incidentals through the week. We'd get a cooked chicken or something because it's one of those busy nights or something. But, I used to be really, really good at once a week shopping. And, you go to the grocery store one time and that's it. You buy everything that you need. And I always used to do, an evening, like I'd do a menu list so that I only bought what we needed, not just bought all that kind of stuff, But I have fallen prey to my own disorganization. And look, there's a supermarket 1,500 meters from my home. So it's far too easy to just go and grab a couple of things.
I know.
But when you go and grab those couple of things, then you buy one other thing that you probably didn't actually need. So, that amount that you need to spend, you're not just spending that same 1 week grocery bill over 5 visits. You're probably adding on 20, 30, 40% to that, because you then impulse buy on things that you didn't actually need, or you've got the kids with you, so you're like, I'll get you afternoon tea here instead of making you something at home. So I think that's really sound advice, and this is going to trigger us back into only going to the supermarket once a week, being conscious of what we're purchasing.
That we tell people, supermarket once a week. I actually did a paper at university on the psychology of advertising, and I have a textbook which I've kept because it talks specifically about how supermarkets are set up to entice you to spend more money. There are very few people who can go into the supermarket for milk and bread and come out with milk and bread. My husband, oh God help us, if you send him to the supermarket for milk and bread, he comes in with 4 bags. And you're like, he's like, oh, I needed that, and we needed that, and we needed all this other stuff. I was like, we didn't really, but it's the psychology of it,
Yeah, so, those end of aisle incentive purchases.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I don't think we, you said, have a look at where you were spending your money now that you can't go out and spend it. How many coffees we don't think about just tapping the card and going, you know, we don't have that emotional attachment to it. I think we've actually spoken about it previously about, you know, actually handing over physical dollars versus
Yes.
tapping your card. There's a very different association. But once you realize, if you take this time right now to reflect on how many dollars you are actually spending just on coffee out or whatever it happens to be, the number of trips to the grocery store, you can really refine
Yep.
that. Once you know, you can't unknow, and that's a big thing for me. You know, once I learn something, I can't unknow it. So so when you know those things, you are making that choice to either choose change or choose to stay the same, you know, so you are at that place of choice. So you can, this could be a really amazing time for people to really understand their finances, and move on to a better place. Yeah.
One of the things we talked about clients is you've got to have some reward for working. So, you know, I use the terminology pocket money. You've got to have every payday, you get some money. So you can go and have a coffee with your mates, buy your magazines or books or super cheap auto, in my husband's case. You know, you've got to have some fun, you know.
Yeah.
But if you look at your fun money for cash, you know, we get cash out the EFTPOS machine. It's like, well, there's your pocket money, and once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
No matter how many sales Super Cheap have. So, you know, you've got to have that leeway as well. But with cash, it's easier. It's tangible, and once it's gone, it's gone. You know, until next payday or coffees or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way for people to learn to spend less. You know, if they realize through this time that actually they're blowing $100 a week or something, just around numbers on coffee and incidentals, just being social with people, we'll go, actually, I need to limit that to $50. So give myself out $50 cash, and that's all I'm allowed to spend. So maybe they won't have coffee and cake. Maybe they'll just have the coffee, or, you know, like there's simple things. And maybe that's just that little psychological change that they make, that I've only got $50 this week. Maybe I'll say, why don't you come and have a cup of tea at my place, you know, and have that social experience in the home, as opposed to necessarily somewhere where you feel that you need to spend money because you're in someone else's premises.
So it's just little things like that. And I mean, yeah, for people that are really, you know, fearful at the moment of how things are going to work out, it's just a matter of one day at a time. You know, like with Sarah and her job, you know, God bless her. I was saying to you, Hazel, she's already got a job interview with Bunnings. So if any of you Bunnings, ups for Sarah. But, you know, and she knows not much about that kind of thing, but, you know, she's out trying to find a job. So, yeah, and there's always going to be opportunities. It's just a matter of put some faith out there and walk into it and see how things go. And I mean, there is so much help available at the moment as well. The people, the banks are, you know, being very helpful. The government's free money. It's just a matter of accessing the information and seeing what people need to get through and hunker down. And we will all get through this. It's just a matter of, it may be different than it was before COVID-19, but
So what's your advice to people? Like, I heard something saying, I am one of those people that I'm just like, I just don't buy into the media hype and the fear and all of those sorts of things, because I know that it's media, you know, like that's, you know, if they want to instill fear into us, and therefore, and I know that fear then generates unwell in my body, so let's just ignore that. And I get an update from my husband once a day, and that's all good. He's very much a news reader, and that's okay with me. But I can get suffice information just from what's the headlines, what do I need to know, and if there's something of interest, he will often just flick me the article to read or something anyway. But there was some talk or something or other, just, you know, people are fearful of paying bills, and that the advice is keep paying your bills, keep paying your rent, keep paying your power bills and your phone bills and those sorts of things. Like, how do you, what kind of advice do you give there?
I mean, none of this stuff is going to go away. You're still, you know, after this, you're still going to have to be required to pay all these bills anyway. But hopefully people have got a little bit of emergency money somewhere, and keep your stash, keep
Yeah.
your emergency stash, just pay what you have to.
Yeah.
One of the big things that's coming up for self-employed people is there is going to be some leniency around tax, because
Okay.
we're getting to the pointy end of the tax year, and there's some big tax bills got to be paid in the next probably 2 months for most businesses. So, keep a little bit, if you need to keep a little bit of powder dry, you just need to let IRD know what you can pay. They still want us to keep filing PAYE and GST returns, but they're open to conversations around keeping cash flow going in businesses by keeping a bit of money back.
Yeah.
So, and I imagine most power, if you're really in a bad space, power and phone companies will be the same. It's all about communication.
Yeah.
So you need to let them know what is happening, specifically how COVID is impacting you or your business, the challenges you're facing, and how much you can pay them.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find most people will be more than happy to play along, but they need to know they need to know that information to check that they're not being played.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where, like you say, communication is really, really important. Don't just go, oh, well, I can't afford to pay that, so I'm just not going to pay it, and put it to the side, because that'll just niggle away at you that you've got this unpaid bill and you haven't done anything about it. But equally, you won't be on side with whoever that person is that's requiring payment. It's far better to pick up the phone, and you're not the only person that's finding it hard right now. So they will have had this conversation a number of times already. So it's not a hard conversation to have. It might feel hard to you, but they're ready for that hard conversation.
Exactly. And they've all got strategies in place. We're getting emails left, right, and centre from product providers that we work with going, right, we have this process and this policy in place now. If people need help with this, this is the information you have to get from them, and you need to let us know that, and then we can work it all through. I mean, honestly, they're all ready, but they need to know specifically how they want to know how COVID is impacting on your business. Or personal situation. They want to know that there's genuinely a problem, and they have strategies in place. So,
Yeah, I remember now where I actually heard about the paying the bills part, and that was it was a little live that Jacinta was doing on her Facebook page or wherever it was, and she was saying, look, we're putting this money into your hands. You need to keep it moving, like to keep the economy going. We need to keep it moving. So that's where that comment came from. Now while you were speaking, I was like, oh, now I remember where I heard that. So it's about keeping the economy moving. So use that money, if you're getting the subsidy from the government, to use that money to buy your groceries or whatever it happens to be. So that's really, really good to know. I did think of something else I was going to ask you, and now I've distracted myself with that thought. I forget now. I know I've read a few of your blogs actually on Smart Money Advice, and we'll put your website down in the comments so people can go and find those as well, because there could be some sound advice in there that will sit well with them. So we'll definitely put that link down there, and then they can obviously contact you directly through your website if they want to get some advice from you. So what else is there that people might want to, that might help dispel some of their fears and things like that? I'm guessing I've already had an email from our bank with regard to, if you need help with mortgages and mortgage holidays and all of those sorts of things. So you should, everyone should be getting information from their financial providers and those sorts of things. So I guess it comes back to that communication. It's like, if you're worried about it, talk to them.
Just be careful with the mortgage holiday thing. It's something that looks really good, but it like a scorpion, it does have a sting in the tail. So if you take a mortgage repayment holiday at any time, not just at this time, what happens is they take the 3 month or 6 month chunk of mortgage that you should have paid, and they stick it on the very end of your mortgage. So, it's very much short-term gain but long-term pain, because that principal and interest that you didn't pay for those 3 months, you're going to be paying interest on for the next 30 years. Only take it if you really, 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 really need it, because otherwise you're actually doing yourself disservice. So it's great for people that have seriously have just lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Because it buys you 3 months of space to deal with that, and hopefully to pick up something else, because Bunnings are hiring, and see how you go. But yeah, don't take it if you don't need it.
Yeah, I completely agree. We understand the mortgage holiday aspect of things, and it's just like, yeah, nothing's free. Nothing's free. Like, yeah, we can give you a little bit of pain relief now if you absolutely need it. But if you can carry on and you can make it work, then it's probably worth just making it work and just tightening your belt a little bit on the other
but
thing.
It is for the absolute worst case scenario, and certainly as well with landlords, if things are really, really bad, just pick up the phone and see.
Yeah, I certainly know there's a few people that are, that are definitely feeling the pinch, where they've maybe invested in a home down in Queenstown, thinking it's a sure thing that you're always going to have, people renting and needing accommodation, all that kind of stuff. And they felt the pain very quickly in those tourist locations when all of a sudden we were closing borders. And
to be fair, that's not going to go away in the short.
Yeah. So people in that situation, they might just have to, because they can't just go, well, we'll just sell it, because that's a little bit more complex than just selling it. So there'll be people that really, 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 really need the mortgage holiday, and those people, it's there for those people. But don't just go, oh, let's take a mortgage holiday for the next 6 months because it's on offer. Without understanding, actually, the sting in the tail is that your mortgage will hang around for that much longer as well. So that's really sound. So what are you doing? So are you still working as many hours as you were in this current time?
We were super busy, to be fair, Hazel, so it's been awesome to catch up on the backlog. We're still full time, but I imagine things will taper off a little bit in the next couple of weeks, which will be great because I've got some stuff I want to do in the house. So
good. Yeah. It's a good time, like you said, it's a time to reset. It's a time to pull out that rainy day list and actually do some things for yourself. And
cool.
And enjoy.
And there's
enjoy
some
that.
really, really good online courses, and that have all become free. So
awesome.
One of my passions is photography, so I've registered for an online photography. It's free for 30 days, so I'm going to crack into that.
Yeah, you got to make the most of all these free for 30 days things. My kids are trying to talk me. The kids are trying to talk me into Disney Plus because it's free for 7 days. I'm like, that then means you're going to binge watch. And I don't know that I really want the behavior that comes with binge watching TV for 7 days. So
mind you, it's generally wholesome stuff on Disney. So.
Generally wholesome. So I'm sure they'll win soon enough. But so far I've held off on including Disney Plus as an option within our home. So we'll see. Might come back. But I think that's really awesome advice that you have shared today, Janet. And great that you're still operating, so that if there's people out there that are hearing this that are just going, we just have no idea how we're going to deal with this, that there are people like yourself that they can touch in with, and we'll put all your contact details in the comments below so people can connect directly with you. And that you've got blogs up already providing advice around all the different aspects of financial investment, or even just day-to-day money, looking after things, so people can get in and have a good read of those. It's always a good time when we have this little extra time to actually learn some new stuff, and learn and grow your knowledge around just having some financial wellness. So that's pretty terrific. So thank you for your time. I really, really appreciate your contribution to our Health and Wellness Expo. Hopefully everyone has taken a few little nuggets of information away there. I'm a little bit scared to look at how much money I was spending on coffee every week, but I will take the time to go and actually have a look at that, because because I'm very aware that I meet a lot of people for meetings in cafes, and that can get out of hand a little bit at times. So there's some good advice in there that I can take on board as well. So thank you so much, Janet. Anyone that wants to contact Janet, please do. She's so lovely. I met Janice through the Venus Network, and have spent some time with Janet, and even got some financial advice for ourselves from Janet. So it comes from a good source, that she is very practical and worth having in your back pocket. So thanks again, Janet. And go ahead and contact Janet if you would like some advice yourself. Thanks very much, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.